The fake Melania conspiracy theory is back. The idea that the First Lady deploys a body double is pretty funny, but like most web conspiracy theories, it's almost certainly bullshit. Back in 2005, a newly wedded Melania Trump summed up her marriage in a depressing quip. Speaking to a class at New York University, she fielded a question from a student who asked if she would be with her husband if he weren't rich. "If I weren't beautiful," she replied, "do you think he'd be with me?" As Donald Trump stepped onto the world stage with his successful presidential campaign, so did his marriage. The Trumps have never seemed like a happy couple. He allegedly cheated on her with Stormy Daniels just months after their son Barron was born, and was reportedly infuriated understandably when news of her husband's payoffs to former flames broke. She allegedly never wanted Donald to be president, and she and Barron stayed in New York City for the first 5 months of Trump's term. Since joining him at the White House, they've become the first presidential pair since the Nixons to sleep in separate bedrooms. Then there's all the video evidence: the forced seeming smile at his inauguration, her visible reluctance to hold his hand. When asked in an interview if she loves Donald, she responded, "Yes, we are fine." The mountain of evidence suggesting that Trump and Melania are anything but a besotted love match, combined with the First Lady's penchant for taciturnity and fondness for sunglasses, has festered into one of the internet's stranger conspiracy theories: fake Melania. The fake Melania theory is pretty simple. Every now and then, presumably when the real First Lady is too over Donald's garbage to even go through the motions, she's replaced by a body double who stands silently at the president's side at whatever events are on his calendar. Both the White House and the Secret Service have denied that the First Lady uses a stand-in. The theory got its start in 2017 when Joe Vargas, the owner of a CBD retailer called by Legal Maids, called attention to footage in which the First Lady didn't look exactly like her usual self. Some social media users seem to evince a joking belief in the fake Melania theory, but others appear authentically convinced. Like all conspiracy theories, it bubbles up periodically, especially when the First Lady is spotted sporting a pair of large sunglasses. It resurfaced Friday, when the Trumps visited a memorial for the 23 victims of Alabama's tornadoes. In a picture taken in front of the memorial, Melania once again did not look like her familiar self. Her nose and mouth appeared a bit different, and she looked shorter than usual. Fueling the theory is the general air of mystery Melania Trump cultivates. She speaks to the press only rarely, and once disappeared from public for 24 days in an absence vaguely attributed to a kidney condition. Internet sleuths have even pinpointed a candidate for her double's real identity: one of the First Lady's Secret Service agents, a woman who bears a striking resemblance to her charge. As amusing as the fake Melania rabbit hole is, like most conspiracy theories, it's almost certainly a complete fiction. For one thing, other photos taken the same day show a very recognizable-looking First Lady. Given changes in makeup, lighting, and those large, face-obscuring sunglasses, anyone could look as different from their usual self as Melania does in the supposedly damning photos. And yes, she did look shorter than she generally appears at the Alabama memorial. But Melania earned flack for wearing heels to a disaster site once before, and the trip to Alabama marked a rare excursion that found her wearing flap shoes. At the root of the theory is a continued suspicion that Melania disdains her husband as thoroughly as a majority of his constituents do, that she doesn't support him or his presidency enough to even appear with him in public. And yes, it's hard to imagine that a fairly reasonable-seeming woman, an immigrant, no less, would stay married to Trump, a man who continuously heaps humiliations upon her. But Melania is no captive in a gilded cage. She's carved out a degree of independence from her husband rarely seen among presidential wives, and rather than succumbing to the pressures of her role has broken with norms upheld by generations of First Ladies. And she's proven capable of expressing opinions that both support and undercut her husband's positions, backing him on the racist Obama birther theory and urging him to end his family separation policy. Melania's fine. And she almost certainly doesn't use a body double. Before he was president, Donald Trump managed to bring a number of conspiracy theories out into the mainstream. So, perhaps it's only karma that he and his family become the subject of kooky conspiracy theories born in the dark corners of social media. Whatever it is, the president's visit to tornado-ravaged Alabama has Twitter thinking fake Melania is back and the jokes are ridiculous. The theory that First Lady Melania Trump had a body double, which she would sometimes send out to stand in for her at various events and photo ops, appears to have first surfaced in 2017 thanks to a man named Joe Vargas. According to Vox, Vargas was the first person to ever question Melania's realness, if you will. The fake Melania movement has continued to persist since then, thanks in part to merchandise available for purchase on Amazon and Twitter's inability to ever let anything truly die. In fact, footage of Trump and Melania paying their respects Friday at dozens of memorial crosses erected for the 23 people killed in a series of deadly tornadoes that ripped through Alabama earlier in the week reignited debate over whether it is or isn't Melania. For some fake Melania jokesters, it was the fact that President Trump had successfully managed to hold hands with the First Lady that tipped them off to the body double. Melania, that's the real Melania for all you fake Melania truthers out there, has, on more than one occasion, rejected her husband's attempts to hold hands. Others were more entertained by speculating as to who fake Melania might really be underneath her dark, oversized sunglasses. Is it a Secret Service agent that happens to have a similar haircut? Or could it be Russian President Vladimir Putin under those shades? While Twitter was awash in fake Melania jokes over the weekend, some Twitter users appeared genuinely convinced that the woman traveling with President Trump was not his wife. They pointed to her hair, or height, or face shape, or her general ease of movement as proof that the Trump administration had subbed in fake Melania for the trip. All joking, and yes, even serious debate aside, the First Lady likely doesn't have a body double stand-in for her at whichever official administration events she doesn't feel like attending. For what it's worth, both the Secret Service and the Office of the First Lady have denied claims of a body double. Once again, we find ourselves consumed with a ridiculous non-story when we could be talking about the work the First Lady is doing on behalf of children, including the opioid crisis that is gripping our nation. Stephanie Grisham, the First Lady's communications director, told CNN in 2017.